Lions, Detroiters, some of the old commercial type planes. Eddie Stinson, that founded the company, was a self-taught pilot back in the 20s, and he did, like during World War I, the dreaded thing of all pilots, if you got in a spin, you were going to die because nobody knew how to get out of it.
Pull out of a spin.
Eddie Stinson, after was in, late 20s, I guess it was, he started a flying school down in San Antonio, Texas. And one day he was up in one of the airplanes they had, I forget what kind, and he got into a spin. And what the pilots didn't realize, that they were holding the stick back.
Oh, I see.
To try to get out of it.
Yeah.
And that's not what you do. You put the stick forward, and the airplane came out.
Oh.
And he was so elated that he had recovered rather than died, he went back up and did it again.
Huh.
Anyway, the Stinson name of aircraft is very famous. They've been around since the late 20s through the 30s. They made the Reliant type series, Detroiter. They started the small Voyager series right after, or just before World War II. They made the little 10A model, and that's more famous for the CAP planes that were used to chase German submarines and spot those off the Atlantic coast. But then after World War II, late 45, 46, 47, 48, they made this four-place model called a Voyager, 108 Voyager. And this aircraft was one of the very last that was made. They made a total of about 5,500 of this same type of airplane. But then in 1949, the company was dissolved and sold out. They couldn't compete on their own as a separate corporation. And so what was probably one of the best designed aircraft, you cannot stall this airplane. It just mushes. And you can't spin it, because you can't spin an airplane unless you can stall it. Now, if you read up on how airplanes fly, you'll understand what I'm saying. This has cabin heat. All the engines for these were made right here in Liverpool, Franklin Air-Cooled Motors. This right now, we just repainted the wings last fall. Right now, this aircraft looks just about the way it did when it came new, but has much better paint on it, much better fabric on it, and there's 2 coats of Emron all over it, which is a new polyurethane paint, and it's just like a permanent wax. And the plane is already nearly 49, 50 years old. It literally will last indefinitely. All you do is take care of it. So when we get back, and I'll give you an extra one of these. This is the form that we use, and you can take one of these home with you. And but I'll have you sign for the parents' permission, okay? And then I'll fill it out, and I'll give you another one. And then I'll send this in to Oshkosh.
Okay.
And then we have another form that I'll give him, that you can take. Here's a certificate that he can take home with it.
Yeah.
And so you
ask him what?
We could fly over where the baby shower was.
Oh, it's over by the Fulton Speedway. You want to know if you could fly over?
Fly over the. Okay, I saw the Speedway the other night where all the lights were. Okay. Okay, is it on which side of the river?
On the west side of the river is where the shower's at. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, because Jamie's down there, and I says, we're going to look for you in the sky.
Did not say that.
Well, things look a bit different when you get up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be hard to find things.
Well,
a little bit.
we can get up in the area. What I thought I'd do is we'll go up for 20 minutes, half an hour is about the most for somebody that's new.
Yeah.
Now a seat, and that probably is about enough for him.
Yeah.
Okay. What I have, I'll put him in a co-pilot seat. I've got a couple cushions so he can sit up and look right out. It's better to video out of the back window,
Yeah.
because if you go inside, we've done this already.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got that strut, but if you sit in the back, see,
Yeah,
you
he's
can
got the
shoot
whole
right out
window.
that window, and you shouldn't have any trouble at all.
Yeah.
So, let me just give you some basics. Oswego County Airport is what they call uncontrolled. They have people here to pump gas, and there is a radio over in the office over there, but it's not required that any of the county people man that when they're here. So if they're in the office and somebody calls in and wants to know something about the airport and they're there, they'll come on the radio and tell them. But at an uncontrolled airport like this, it's what we call see and be seen, which means it's each pilot's responsibility to look out for other pilots and other aircraft, all right? And what we do, most of them, we have radios, and we use that, and we broadcast. When we come to the airport, we broadcast in the blind so that other aircraft that have radios hopefully will hear us. But we do have Piper Cubs and Arancas and Porterfields and Taylorcrafts and some other aircraft that fly in here, and they don't have radios. So we have to always be on the lookout for other airplanes. Now, just to give you some basics, every runway in the United States at an airport has numbers. And the way you get the numbers, if you take a compass, say, let's say here's north, and here's east, and here's south, and here's west. So if you go around like this, which would be clockwise, you go 0 degrees, 10, 20, up to 90 degrees, then 100 dotted all the way around to 180 degrees, and then you go 200, 210, you come around to 270, which is west, and then you come back around to 360, which is 0. Okay, so that's a compass. Okay, now when you build a runway, it's pointing in some direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that runway right out there where that plane is going to take off, he's going to take off toward the north at roughly 330 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, an imaginary 330 degrees. Now what the FAA says, if we're going to give that runway a number, we simply drop the 0. So the southern end of that runway, which is down here, pointing in 330 degrees direction, is numbered 33.
Mm-hmm.
Now if you go to the other end of it, which is out here, if I land from the north and I come in out here, I am flying the opposite of 330. If you add 180 to that, or subtract, I'm sorry, it's 150. So if you drop the 0, then the end of that runway out here is 15. So that north-south runway at this airport is 3315. Okay, and if you come into final, and you'll see these great big numbers at the end of the runway. Every runway in the United States is the same way. Now, the other one, the cross one out here, if I go down to that end of it and I take off in that direction toward the west, I'm taking off in the 240 degree direction on my compass. So what the FAA says, you don't need the 0, so the end of that runway out there is 24. So if you go to the other end of it, which is 180 degrees away, and I come in over the city, and I land, and I'm headed 60 degrees, so you drop the 0, so the other end of this runway out here is 6, so we have 624. Okay? Now that's runway marking. Now the other thing is, when we fly, we just don't fly at the airport like you go to a shopping center and you drive into the shopping center and you just park. Okay? You don't do that at an airport, especially uncontrolled. There is distinct patterns that we have. If I come in from the west and I'm going to land, just like that plane is taking off down there right now. It's taking off to the north, 330 degrees. So, see, right now the wind is right out of kind of the northwest. You always take off into the cone, or into the wind. Like, see that windsock out there? That's blowing away from you, okay? So you take off into the cone and land into the cone. So if I come in from the northwest I come into a leg we call the downwind leg, which means the wind is behind me and I'm going with it. Then I enter the next leg, which is perpendicular to the runway, and that's called the base leg. And then my last leg, when I come in to land, is called final. And I call those each time on the radio, so that other aircraft that are at this airport can hear me, and I can keep an eye out from them, so that we stay away from each other. Okay. Now, if anything happens when I'm coming in, say on final, let's say there's deer or another plane, or for whatever reason I'm not satisfied that I'm going to land now, then I just punch the throttle and I'll do a maneuver, what they call go around. And that's all part of our training. Everything I'm telling you, or going to tell you, is all part of what we're trained for. And I've already had my emergency landing, so I know what it's like to have to go down. I went down, all right? It wasn't my fault. The cause of the accident was not me, but I had to make a real emergency landing. I'll tell you about that later. So anyway, any questions about the airport? I know it's an awful lot of information, but what I'm giving you is like a mini ground school in about 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, the other thing, and again, this is all part of our training. I'm going to do you never walk out to an airplane and just get in it and start the engine and go. No. You do that to your car, because your car sits there. There's really nothing wrong with it. It's got gas in it, it's got oil, and the battery's all right. So you go out, you open the door, get in, and start it. You do not do that with an airplane.
Car stays on the ground, you're in the air, and the engine stops.
Well, you always do a pre-flight. And what I'll do is, I'm going to talk I've already flown this for an hour and a half today.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk myself through a rather quick pre-flight to give you some idea of what we do. Now, I keep these on because birds like very much to get inside of towels and build nests. Mm-hmm. And even in the hangar, mm-hmm, they will get in. So these are anti-bird something, whatever you want to call it. They did. When I first got the plane, I came up one day and I saw a piece of straw in there, and the buggers had gotten in here and built overnight. They'd build a nest in the back of it. Mm. Okay? So I take my bird things off, and then I just start looking at it. Is everything still here? Small warning. There's snow, I got a few bugs on it, no big deal. Everything looks okay. Now this is a pitot. They call it pitot tube. And we always put a cover on the pitot tube because it has a hole in the end right up here. That's part of the airspeed indicator we have in the cabin. And bugs like to get in there and build nests. And if they plug that thing up, I'm not going to have any indication as to how fast we're going. So you always put a pitot cover on, and part of your pre-flight is that you take it off before you fly. I keep that right in here. Now I just keep looking. This is an aileron. That sheet I'll give you will describe the wing. These are ailerons. They make the plane go like this. These are flaps. There's two of these. They slow the airplane down. So this is a rod that holds onto this. Check that. This is a navigation light to make sure that it's all right. You actually move the controls and make sure that the bolts are all attached. I'm going to check the flaps. These are two-position flaps. They both work. Make sure they're okay. And then just look at the airplane in general. Everything looks okay. Make sure the bolts are hooked. This is a horizontal stabilizer. This thing here goes right straight through. This is an elevator. This makes the plane go up and down. Okay? This is a vertical fin. This is a rudder. And this aircraft is designed with trim tabs so that when I'm flying, I can trim the level attitude of the plane either up and down or sideways. This is the elevator trim tab. This is the rudder trim tab. Make sure they're okay. Check the rudder cables. Make sure they're all right. Check the tail wheel. That spring. I've already been in a plane where this thing busted and we ended up in a water ditch down in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. Again, it wasn't our fault, but I know what it is to have that very sick feeling to go for a ride and you can't do anything. Okay, just make sure they're all hooked together. Nothing's wrong there. This flap is all right. This aileron is all right. Navigation light is all right. Now we're going to check the oil. Okay, now this engine is just like it was built down in Liverpool. Franklin Air-Cooled Motors, 6-cylinder engine, 3 cylinders on one side, 3 on the other. It's probably one of the best general aviation engines for small aircraft that was built, because Franklin came up with a way to get rid of heat. And our problem is that the company's gone out of business and it's hard to get parts for this. But luckily, there's a guy here locally that's still working on them. So what few problems I've had, I've been able to get them fixed. Now I'm pulling the dipstick. And it should be, okay, here's 7. It's just a little over 7 quarts, so that's fine. Look around for leaks or oil leaks or fuel leaks or loose parts or anything that might cause you a problem. Now we have a thing here, it's called a gascolator. That separates the water from the gas. So I'm going to turn the fuel on and drain just a little bit of fuel out of there. Bigger airplanes you can get water in the fuel. So you drain a little bit of fuel out of there. So that's okay. Just keep looking for anything that might be loose. Plug wires. Okay. Check the oil. That's tight. Cap is tight. So I'm satisfied with this side. You always want to make sure your cover is flat. On some aircraft, you don't have a big cover like this one. Just have a little teeny one you can check the oil. Stinson makes it so you can get at the whole engine, which really is a good deal. I want to wipe this up just a little bit. You're always looking for oil leaks. No, nothing there. Nothing there. Pick this up. This is a baffling. This makes the air go down over the cylinders and go back out of the engine, and that's what keeps the engine cool. Okay. Nothing much. Sit there. Call this hook. Now these things on the side here, they're called venturis. And there's one on one side and one on the other. When the airplane's going through the air, it goes in here and makes a vacuum, like you suck on a soda straw. And there are instruments in there that operate on a vacuum. The air is sucked here, and that makes a gyroscope spin. You can look up in your encyclopedia somewhere, if you get a nice book, and you can read what a gyroscope is. And that runs an instrument so we can tell what attitude the aircraft is in, whether it's up, down, right, or left. And so we don't need any electricity to run the instruments in there. We use these venturis on the side. Okay, checked. Covers are tight. This one's tight. Okie dokie. Now the last thing before we push it out is check the gas. This aircraft has 2 25-gallon tanks in the wing. And I just filled them when I got back this morning. We always check for water. See there, the wing tips in a little bit on both sides, and at the low point, there's a drain. So we drain a little bit of fuel out. If we had water in it, see, gas floats on the top of water, right? And you'd see water in there. Well, this is all pink, which is the type of gas we use, which is 80 octane. And so that tank's all right. Check another one. Okay, no water in that, so that's all right. Now I'm satisfied that the airplane is ready to fly. Now, you're a shorty, so I gotta decide whether you get one cushion or two. I think we're gonna give you two. There. All right, everything's off. We're all set to push her out. Okay, take that. See this front? No, not the back one, just the front. Just pull it off to one side. That's it. Now go over and do the same one. Leave the back one in. Go over and do the one over there. Don't bump your head. Okay. Now, this thing weighs about, right now, about 2,300 pounds. Okay, good. Now, courtesy, that's it. That's kind of that's good. All right, we'll get your dad in the back. Now, anything else you want to know? Wait a minute, we got to get him in first. Anything else you want to know? It's an awful lot, I know. See, he can shoot his video right out the back. Hey. See, when we get up on the level flight, see, then you'll be up a bit higher, and you can see. Alrighty. That's it. That's it. Now, this is just a tuck your head. That's it. This is just a restraint to keep you with the airplane. No, put your arm, oh, just like that. That's it. Now let me get the hold of this yard buckle. See, it gets down next to the seat. Booger. There. Okay. Okay. There. Now you just put, when we get up level, see, then you can, yeah, you're all right. Well, wait a minute. Let me do something here. I'm going to move the seat forward for you.
Awesome.
You want me to push back here at all?
There, that's all right. Went up one notch. He's all right. There, a little bit further ahead. There, okay? Now, this is the control, what they call a control yoke. Now, if you pull back or push forward on it, all right? Now that makes the elevators, remember I told you the elevators make it go up and down? So if you pull back, that makes the elevator go up and the airplane goes up. If you let forward a little bit, the airplane goes down. Now remember I said the ailerons, see that one out there, if I roll it this way, that aileron goes up. That's going to make this wing, the wind over the top, that makes that wing go down. And see, this aileron is down, so that makes this wing come up. And so if I roll this back and forth, I make the plane roll, okay? Either left or to the right, all right? Now the other controls we have are the rudders, and if I push left rudder or right rudder, that makes the airplane go like this, all right? So those are the primary controls to fly the airplane. Now for this aircraft, you have what they call toe brakes, which means with my feet on the rudder pedals, if I tip them forward when I'm on the ground or I'm going to land, I can do that and I apply the brakes and I can slow the airplane down. So, okay, now these are our instruments. This is altimeter, this is a directional gyro, airspeed, artificial horizon. This is the tachometer. This tells me how fast the engine is turning over. This is another navigation aid. It's called a VOR. Oil pressure, oil temperature, fuel, how full each tank is, and whether the battery's working or not. This is an amp meter. This is a cylinder head temperature gauge. Tells me how hot one of the cylinders are. Okay? Really quite simple. 50s, late 40s, middle 40s technology. Still works today. Okay? All right, let me get the intercoms going, and I'll do that from the other side. I'll open the window here and give you a second.
Oh no.
What?
Open the window.
Yeah. Get some air. That's open.
Oh, right here. I thought it was back here.
No. That'll give me air back here too.
Whoa, that's slow.
All right, gotta put my hat back there. All right, now let's see. Really doesn't make any difference. Okay, this one comes up here. This is yours. This is your dad's. But I don't have to because I've already run it today for about an hour and a half. It should start right. Okay, you'd like to go up over Oswego,
No,
right?
No, not Oswego, Fulton Speedway.
Oh, Fulton Speedway.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, I thought you said Oswego.
No.
Okay, which side, how far from the Speedway?
Well, it's directly on the opposite side of the river.
Oh, so you want to be over the Speedway, and you'll be wanting to look for some house on the west side of the river. Okay?
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
All right.
You know where I live?
No, I don't.
You know where Eddie Ballinger's garage is? Out on the end of Calkins Road out here?
No,
Right.
I'm not familiar with him at all.
Right, just out here at the end of the runways, the Calkins Road.
Okay.
You know where the incinerator is?
Yeah.
Well, we live like right in front of the incinerator.
Okay. Well, we'll be using 2-4 because see the wind has shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll go right out over the city, and then I'll turn and go right down the east side of the river toward the Speedway, and then we'll circle down there a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And then, like I say, we'll go up for about a half an hour and then come back, and I think that's probably enough for him.
Yeah.
Now in this plane, see, I have an old clock that I got, and it's an Oldsmobile clock, and it has a red marker and an adjustable dial. And this aircraft you fly, well, all aircraft you fly by time. The engine burns about 10 gallons an hour, and that's how I control when I'm on cross country. I switch from left tank to right tank, and I monitor my fuel by this clock. I set it, say, for a half an hour increment, and when the hand comes around, then I know it's time to change tanks. So that keeps the airplane level when I'm flying. Now, before we go, you always use the pilot's checklist. Okay, this is all part of your training. So we are not over 2,400 pounds. We're probably about 2,200 now with all of us in here. The ignition is off. Parking brake, that's okay. Pitot cover, I took that off. The oil level I checked. Fuel tanks are okay because I tightened those earlier when I filled it. And we checked the fuel for no dirt. Flight controls, you always make sure they're free. Okay. Rudder's okay. Flaps are okay. Elevator trim. Okay, we'll leave that about where I had it this morning. Master switch, we'll check fuel. This is the right tank. This is the left tank, and it says that we've got fuel. So we'll fly off the right tank for the first go here. Carburetor heat is off. Altimeter. This airport is about 470 degrees above sea level. So you always set your altimeter at the field elevation. The radio is off. Navigation is off. Transponder is off. And my strobes are off. I have blinking strobes on each wingtip so people can see me. Okay. Fuel's on the most. Mixture is in, and we are ready to go. Now, before you start an engine, you always yell clear prop because somebody could be walking around the airplane and they could get hurt. All right? Clear prop. Ready? Master switch is on. Throttle is set. And it should run. As soon as the engine starts, you check for oil pressure. Okay, tachometer is working. Going to turn the radio on.
Sawyer County traffic, Bonanza 112 Fox, turning left face, runway 24.
All right, now, remember I told you base leg? So we have an aircraft coming in to the pattern, but we're not out there yet, so we don't worry about him. Nobody's around. Turn the strobes on. Strobes are working, and we're ready to taxi. Well, that's why we wear a headset. Now, when this airplane was built, they had just like regular AM radios, and you had a speaker, and you could actually navigate that way by using the old AM radio band. But
Sawyer County traffic, Bonanza 112 Fox, turning final runway 24.
But those radios are outlawed now. You can't use them. We have to use a more modern type radio. And because it is a bit noisy, we try to all fly with a headset on. So I'm always looking. When you taxi an airplane, you're always looking. And in the tail dragger types, either
Oswego County traffic is for you 382, tuning on a crosswind 24.
there's two kinds of airplanes. Either it's the tricycle type airplane, which is like a kid's tricycle with a nose wheel in front, or the tail dragger type, which is what this one is. And when we taxi this type of aircraft, I'm always going kind of in the S-turn here so that I can see what's in front of me.
Oswego County traffic, Warrior 382, turning left downward 24, Oswego.
We got another guy in the pattern. There's the guy landing. Bonanza. That airplane was designed way back in the mid-40s, but they're still flying them. Okay, we have one other plane that's called in the pattern, so I'll just keep an eye out. Nobody's coming in on this runway, so we're going to cross it. See, again, an uncontrolled airport, you always are looking around or seeing what's going on. Okay, there's the other plane that called in the pattern.
traffic, Warrior 382 is turning left base for 2, 6
Now she's turning her next leg, which is called the base leg, perpendicular to the runway. And when I get down here, I'm going to stop and look around, and I'm going to do a run-up. And what that is, I'm going to check the engine and make sure it's running all right. It has 2 magnetos on it.
Oswego County traffic, Warrior 382, Spark turning final for 2-4, Oswego.
I check to make sure that I can run on either the left or the right magneto, because if it's not running right, we're not going to fly. Again, this is all part of your training. So now we're facing the runway. I can see the whole thing here. Anybody else in the pattern? Got one coming in on final. I'm going to do a run-up now. I hold the elevator back. I got the brakes on so the airplane won't move. I'm going to run the RPM up to about 1900. Now I'm going to check the left tag. 100 RPM drop is normal. Thank you both. I'm going to check the right tag. 100 RPM is normal. Check carburetor heat. That's normal. Now that tells me that the airplane is going to be okay and it's ready to fly. So I taxi up to the yellow line, which is caution place, and you never want to take off or be on a runway with another airplane on it. So I wait until whatever she's going to do. She's going to fly or she's going to get off. Okay, she's going to do a touch, what they call a touch and go, which means she landed, rolled for a while, and then took off again. Okay, there's nobody else in the pattern. We wait until she clears the airspace right near the airport. So she could have a problem right now, and I don't want to compound her situation by being in her way. I want her to get away from the airport. Okay, now I'm going to broadcast and let everybody else know we're going to fly. Oswego County Unicom, Stinson, 6939 Mike, depart active runway 24, Oswego County.
Oswego County traffic is Warrior 382, turning on crosswind for 24.
My dad wants so I can fly over.
You want to fly it? It's up to you.
Yeah, but I can't.
Well, let's get up in the air and then we'll worry about that. Okay, I line up with the runway. I set my artificial horizon.
Look out the window, Scott.
Oswego County traffic, Warrior 382, turn left.
Keep the airplane in the center of the runway.
Roger, take off, Scott.
Get her up to about 60 miles an hour. And we're flying.
You're up in the air.
Fly right straight out away from the airport. Why do you think we do this? Because it's fun. And that's why we fly, because it's fun.
Flying like a bird now, Scott.
Okay, I got 1 knots of flaps. I get away from the airport, drop the flaps. Now I got the airplane. Oswego County Unicom, Stinson, 6939 Mike, departure traffic area to the southwest. So I told anybody else in the pattern that I'm going to go away from the airport.
I still see it. Oh, Dad, look over there.
Yeah, our house is down there, Scott. There's the farm. There's the incinerator over there. It's over that way. We'll see it later.
Oswego County traffic is Warrior 382, turning on base for 24.
All right, I want to get up a little higher and get away from the airport. So I'm just going to go straight out over the lake here. Right. Cool. Fun. thinking ahead all the time, though. See, what do we do when we get up here now? We're always looking, because there could be other planes up here.
Williams County traffic, this is Morgan 382, turning on final 24.
Look how straight the roads are, Scott.
Now, that's the road that goes to Hannibal. That's Route 3 and Old Route 3. This is Lake Neodawana. Now, my friends, there's docks down in that little bay down there. Next week or so, there'll be 4 full planes down there. They keep them there, and then they fly off the lake during the summer.
You want us to call like a close flight on yes, we can do that there.
Okay, I'm up to about 1,800 feet. I'm just opposite Miller's, so I'm going to make a left-hand turn.
You said you wanted us to close a flight plan.
See, I do not want to be down too close to the ground. See, in case I ever had a problem, I want altitude is our best insurance, and you're always thinking about that.
What is your call sign?
Okay, I'm turning, headed east. Miller's is over here on my left. Speedway is going to be right there on your side. Now, you said your house is right across from the Speedway?
Yeah, it's down in the, down by the river. Is where they're having a party. There it is.
All right, what I'll do is I'll come right over the Speedway and go right over the house.
We'll call
Headed westbound. I do not want, I'm always looking out for other airplanes.
Yep.
All right, I'll stay a little south of the Speedway so you can shoot the house. I'll go out here and then make a 180. Down to about 1,600 feet. Hang on, we're all right. Just going to make a bank so I can go right back over the Speedway and you can see your house. There's Owens, Illinois, 481 highway. Syracuse is off to the right straight ahead of us. Going right into the sun, so okay, there's the Speedway right over there. I'll go down about 1,600 feet. Now is the house right straight across?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it on your side, all right? Go down to 1,500 feet. That's about as low as I want to go.
Departing 24 from the intersection.
You see the house?
Right down there in the trees, Scott. See the trees with the boat is? See the floor down there?
Got it?
See it? Trees covering up the house, Scott. There's the swimming pool. See the swimming pool? Right over there.
You got it?
Yeah.
There's all cars. See all the cars? There's everyone out back, too.
Hang on, we're going right around it.
That looks like Mom's left already.
Yep.
All right, now I want to get some altitude.
Why can't I take control of it?
To do what?
Why can't I fly it?
Hang on, let me get you up to about 2,500 feet.
Oswego County traffic is 483, turning on crosswalk 24.
Oswego County traffic, Warrior 382, turning west downward towards Equal Hill.
Oh, lots of trees.
Yeah. See the mud? The mud. See the mud? That's where they grow lettuce and onions. It's all farmland.
Now there's Lake Ontario. Up and straight ahead, there's a nuclear powered plant. You can see the tower. We're north of Phoenix. We get about 300 more feet.
Do we fly over the landfill? Or is that too close to the airport? Bristol Hill? Or is that something we do towards landing?
Think. Well, we'll go over that one on downwind to 2-4. It's right down there. We'll be on downwind to 2-4 for that.
For the landfill?
Yeah, it's right down there. Now wait a minute, that's northern.
That's northern.
The landfill is just north of it.
Yeah, be out Route 3 a little bit.
Oh, and then here it is down here. Hang on. I'll put it on your side. All right.
Oswego County traffic, Warrior 382.
It's on your side. See it? Right under it.
37 Romeo, departing the pattern, heading south along the lake.
Right over here. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to get away from the airport.
All right.
Teeny tiny cars.
What is the normal height the plane flies at? Or
Well, we fly at whatever altitude we're comfortable. If you're on cross country going east, you fly odd altitudes plus 500 feet. If we're local, we pretty much fly whatever we want. If you're going west, you fly even altitudes plus 500 feet. That's an FAA regulation. Okay, you ready? Take a hold of it. Now wait a minute. You just don't stare out the windshield. You've also got to leave looking at your instruments. Now I've just got the rudder pedal and the throttle. Now we're at 2,600 feet. See it over here? See, this is your altimeter. So we want to keep it between 2,500 and 26. So you start scanning. Now I know you're short, so I'll just kind of scan outside, but we're just going to keep it going. Oh, roughly between 30 and 60 degrees. We're headed right toward the city of Mexico. Okay, pull back on a little bit. Now I see it banking. Bring it back. Bring it back. The airplane, that's the other thing when you fly. The airplane tells you what it's doing. Hear the engine and go RPM change? that means it's working. It means it's going up a little bit. So we want to keep it right about, what we do is just make minor corrections to keep it straight and level. So we'll keep it between 30 and 60 as far as our heading is concerned. We'll keep it between 25 and 2,600 feet for altitude. Well, let me get up here a little further away from the airport and then we'll turn.
Recording a traffic pattern to the southeast.
Now don't grip it, you can hold on to it very loose. You don't grip it real tight. All you do is make minor corrections for going straight and level. And I'll get up here a little further and then I'll let you do a left turn and then we'll do a right turn. Okay, bring it back just to the right a little bit. Now you're pulling back on it. See the nose go up? Keep her straight and level. Bit further. See, now we're always looking out for other airplanes because there could be somebody else up here. That's all part of your training. So you scan outside, and you scan your instruments. Make sure that everything is okay. Oil pressure, oil temperature, fuel, amp meter. Okay, now we're going to do a shallow left turn. So you just roll the airplane to the left very gradually, and you just bring it and then just hold it there. Now what'll happen is the airplane will tend to drop, and so you have to kind of hold a little bit back on the elevator. We don't pitch it too much. We just keep it sort of this needle right about here. Very shallow left turn. Now we don't want it to go down, so we hold it back, just a little bit back, okay? Now we'll go all the way around so we don't have the sun in your eyes. That's why I wear a baseball hat, so I can keep the sun out of my eyes. Bring her on around. Now see it's starting to go down, the airplane tells you. So you hold back a little bit on the elevator. Keep it from going down, okay? Nothing fancy. We're not up here doing aerobatics. This airplane isn't designed for that. Okay, feel it going down again, so you hold back a little bit on the yoke. Now we bring it on around, and then we'll level it out, and then we'll do a right-hand turn. Okay, roll it out, bring it back straight and level. When you turn, you always look out, make sure there's nobody else out there. Because when the wing goes down, you can't see that side. So now we're going to do a shallow right-hand turn. So you roll the airplane to the right. Now keep this needle right about there. That's about a 15-degree bank. Well, about 25-degree bank. Feel the airplane going down, so you hold just a little back on the yoke. We don't want it to go down too much. We want to keep it at the same altitude.
Yeah, flight 714, number Echo, entering downwind 28, yeah.
Now we'll just take her all around in a 360-degree turn. This is all part of your training. When you start taking lessons, this is what your instructor will have you do. Bring her right on around. Bring her on around. Okay? Get the sun out of her eyes. This is kind of a training area. When they have students at the airport, they bring them up over this way, and then that way we don't conflict with any other traffic at the airport. Okay, that's a 360-degree turn. Okay? want to do? Anything else you want to do?
See what the water looks like. Are we that close enough to be able to see what the water looks like?
Yeah. Okay, we'll fly her over toward the lake now. Bring it around, just careful. Remember, we got to keep the same altitude.
Southbound 714, number X-ray, turning base 28.
Not too steep. I'll roll her out and we'll head right straight for the lake. Straighten her out. Straighten her out.
Watertown traffic here,
Keep the same,
989 is about
same altitude.
3 or 4 miles to the southwest, inbound landing, like 1045, and any traffic area, please report.
See, earlier this morning, the sun was right down on the lake, and you could see different color patterns. Right now, it's at an angle, so you don't get the different shades of blue on the water. Now that's Mexico, town of Mexico down there.
Piper taking off on runway 24 at Oswego County. This is Bonanza E90 Whiskey. Air Shuttle 2989 is
So that big, there's a big pond up there you can see it goes in. That's Sandy Pond. You think you like it? That's because we fly because it's fun. But we're always thinking ahead of the airplane. We're always thinking safety. There's a whole lot of things that you have to think about when you come up and do this. But that's all part of your training when you start taking lessons.
About 7 northwest. Air Shuttle 2989 is turning a base right for runway 25 at Watertown.
See, there's like 4 airports on the same frequency. Watertown, Hamilton, Penn and Oswego. Okay, now bring it around to the left and we'll fly up right along the shoreline. I don't like to go out too far over the water in case I had a problem. Now don't let her drop. A little bit back pressure.
Bridgeport Air Center, citation 92 Bravo.
Okay, roll it out.
Bridgeport Air Center, citation 92 Bravo. We'll call you in a little bit, it's too congested.
Watertown traffic, Air Shuttle 2989, short final, runway 25.
I'm just trimming it. This is the elevator trim right here. It makes that tab go up just a little bit or a little bit down so the airplane flies level. Okay, roll it back level so your dad can get a shot of the nuclear plant. When that thing is steaming, you can see that for long, long ways away. And it's a good beacon in case you're not sure where you are. You can fly right to it and know you're going to get back to Oswego County.
nuclear plant, Scott?
Yeah. Dad, did you get enough of it?
Huh?
Did you get enough of it?
Hold the thing right up to your mouth. He can't hear you. Hold it right up
Did you
there.
get enough of it?
I'm getting good coverage right now, Scott.
Now we'll just make a big loop toward Oswego and then come back, and then I'll talk my way into the pattern and see how we land this thing.
4702 Hotel 14 Northwest 890 Whiskey taking off runway 6. Straight out departure runway 6, Oswego County.
Now why is that guy using 6?
Whoa.
Yes, 714, number 2, turning downwind 28, then yes.
Penyan, that's about 60 miles from here. But they all use the same radio frequency.
Airport, Cherokee 754 Echo, request your winds and active.
Okay, don't grip the wheel so hard now. Just relax. You're gripping it too hard.
Did I turn yet?
Not yet. We'll get up near the river or the city, so your dad can see Oswego, and then we'll go right down along the river.
Yeah, we'll go right down the river, Scott, then you can see our house.
Which side are you on?
We're on the east side.
East side.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's Elcan.
No traffic, Mooney 02 Hotel, 9.5 northwest, it's about 3,000 feet now.
Okay, the river is right ahead of us here. We'll turn just a minute.
Northbound traffic, Cherokee 9550 to the end, 3 miles west of the field, on across the wind for runway 35. Morning traffic calling Oswego County Airport. This is Cherokee 5 request. You're about 3 miles west of the field at 3,000 feet. Where were you located? This is Mooney 02 Hotel. We're at Danville. Now we're at 2,500 feet. We're going to be in down or 7.6 northwest.
I just noticed that.
It'll be a pretty sunset tonight. Okay, bring it around to the left, and we'll go down the east side of the river. Hold back on it a little bit. Nose is dropping. Okay, roll it out. Level her up. Okay, there's the river on your side. Okay? There's Minetto down there with the old Columbia Mills and the bridge.
There's a baseball field.
Yeah. There's some baseball. It's Oswego County baseball field.
Whoa. There's a helicopter.
Somebody helicopter down there?
Yep.
Flying or not?
Is it just sitting on the ground or flying? Where is it?
Oh, he's clap dusting.
Oh, okay.
It's way down.
Good. I don't want to be anywhere near him. Now what I'm going to do, See, some guy took off on runway 6. So I really don't know which way the wind is blowing. So what we do in that case is fly over the airport. I'm going to get up to about 2,800 feet. See, there's Lake Nantawana, Fulton's right ahead of us. I'm going to fly over the airport and see which way the wind socket's blowing. Because we've got different guys doing different things down there. The airport's right over here. You see it? I'll put the nose down. See it? See the airport? Right over there. See it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, there's a plane taking off on 2-4. Okay, that's all I want to know.
There's the drive-in, Scott. On the other side of the river, see the drive-in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stay out here and I'm going to talk my way through. I got the plane. I'm going to talk my way through a complete pattern to enter the airspace, okay? See, there's other aircraft in down there, and I just want to come in, and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, I'm going to cut the throttle back, and I'm going to descend. We got to get down to about 1,500 feet when I enter the pattern. Okay, we're coming down 2,600 feet. I got to lose about 1,000 feet. Then I want to enter the pattern. I'll show you how we do that. Make a right bank down. I'm going to enter an upwind, what they call upwind.
Oswego County traffic, Cherokee 5-4, space, runway 24, Oswego County. Bridgeport Air Center, citation 92 Bravo.
Okay, I'm going to be coming around. I'm going to parallel the runway we're going to land at.
We're about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes out. There should be a gentleman waiting for our passengers.
Are we gonna land and then go back up?
We're going to land on that runway right over there. Runway 24.
And then go
So
back
as you
up?
can have a
We're
look,
going to taxi back in.
we'll be there in about 15 minutes.
Oswego County Unicom Stinson, 6939 Mike, upwind, runway 24, Oswego County.
Oswego County traffic, Cherokee 5-4, Echo final, runway 24, Oswego County.
There's a guy just turning final. Now I'm paralleling the runway on the north side of it. Most of the airports all have a right-hand or a left-hand pattern. I'm in the upwind leg for this airport right now. I'm down to 1,700 feet.
Yeah, I see the airport.
It's right there. See, there's an airplane landing. He's right over the numbers now.
Yep.
Now when I get out here, I'm going to make a 90-degree turn, and that's crosswind.
And Penyan, that's up 4 November X-ray, downwind 28, Penyan.
Scott, if you look out your window, you'll be able to see our house as we make our turn.
This thing is killing my head.
Oswego County Unicom, Stinson, 6939 Mike, crosswind, runway 24, Oswego County.
We're flying over our house now, Scott.
This thing is killing my head, you know.
Yeah.
See our house down there?
Where?
Down there. Look down. See the house? There it is.
Still there.
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, we just passed it.
I don't know where you're flying.
Okay, watch the landing now, Scott.
Okay, we're crosswind,
There's the city of Fulton, Scott. See it? River, going to the river.
Really thirsty looking at water.
Well, when you get done, you can go get a drink. Oh, we got a cub. See, I told you we got to look out for everybody else.
Where?
Right over here. He doesn't have a radio. He's in the pattern ahead of me.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going out and do a 360-degree turn and get in behind him. Because I'm faster than he is. See what I told you about see and be seen? Alright, I'm going to do a right-hand turn out over the city and re-enter the pattern. Oswego County Unicom, Stinson 6939 Mike, orbiting over the city to re-enter downwind, runway 24, Oswego County. Now I'm going to enter a normal pattern, 45-degree entry into the downwind leg of runway 24. Oswego County Unicom, Stinson 6939 Mike, entering 45 degrees. Down. He has the right of way. Don't see anybody else. He's entering final. Now we slow this thing down. Carburetor heat. Throttle back.
Number 04 on runway 25 in the western port direct Syracuse.
I slow this down until I get it down to about 90, which is right near that yellow, white arc there. Then I can put the flaps on. Cub's just going in on final. Nobody else in the pattern. First notch of flaps. Give the Cub time. I don't know what he's going to do.
Where is he?
He's on the runway. Oswego County Unicom, Stinson 6939
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
base, runway 24, Oswego County. Now I'm far enough away, so depending on what he does, hopefully I've gone out far enough so that if he's going to taxi in real slow, which he's doing, he'll be off the runway by the time I get there. All right, let's slow this thing down to about 70. Look for other aircraft. Nobody else on final. Cub's off the runway, so we have the runway.
I see the shadow
That's right.
of the air.
Oswego County Unicom, Stinson 6939 Mike, coming up final, runway 24, Oswego County.
Now the house burned down.
Here comes the fun part, Scott. Landing.
This is what we're trained for. I've got the aircraft stabilized about 75. I'll get her down about 70. I'm lined up with the runway. Okay, there's a very slight crosswind. Nothing serious. I'm going to 3-point this, which means that I'll put all 3 wheels on the ground at the same time. Keep the airspeed. I got her at 70.
Hey.
Okay, we're over the end of the runway. Throttle back. Let her settle into ground effect. Keep
Hey,
it straight on.
County Hawk 23497 at 5,000 feet reception
There's
airport.
that yellow airplane.
Touchdown.
3-pointer. Carburetor heat off, flaps dumped, we're on the ground.
Dad, back there was a red car and a kid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're watching.
Now I broadcast that we're going to get out of here. Oswego County Unicom, Stinson 39 Mike, clear active 24, Oswego County.
I like taking off.
Oh, sure. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah, Scott, you can watch it on TV as much as you want, but it's nothing like the real thing.
Now you're a young eagle. Official. Now, before I shut the engine down, I do a run-up, which tells me that today, when we flew this airplane, the engine was running fine. And I'll do a run-up, and that tells me that it's okay today. So if I come up tomorrow or a week from now, whenever, and I got a problem, then there's something else that's happened to the engine that it was okay today, and that means that I got to do some checking. So there's nobody behind me. Hold the elevator back, hold the brakes. Okay, now when we shut an airplane engine down, you don't just turn it off. You turn off all the electrical stuff. Make sure everything is off. 1,000 RPM. Because it's still turning over and it can suck fuel in there. So the way you shut an airplane engine off is you pull the lean. And that starves it to death. Because if you just shut it off, it could backfire. So you pull that out, turn the master switch off, turn the mags off, turn the fuel off. That's it. Think you like flying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the blood now.
I waited 42 years for this.
I've had her now 7 years, and I'm having a lot of fun with her. Okay, I'll get you out. Put your headset up on the dash here. Turn my switch off on the amplifier there. Hey, John. I gave a packet to Les Thomas, the guy with the Fulton Scout Group. Oh, okay. And gave him your name and number. Okay, great. They want to do okay. Sure. I told him about our talk directly to him. Yeah. So what I gave him today was basically going to do that. Okay. Apparently he's cleared it.
What do you think about a plane?
Somebody in Nashville. Okay. They can fly. Now,
Want to go again?
Yeah.
We'll see what Lauren Knapp says. There you go.
Well, I got a new young eagle here. We're all set. Thank you. Whoop. We're going to be... Okay, now you get up on the front there and push on that front strut Only this time we gotta push the other way. Okay? Gotta get her inside.
Don't let it run over your toes is all.
Ready? Push. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay, okay. Easy now. Coming up on the block.
Leave the black there.
No, leave the block there.
Put the black back.
That's how far back I want to go. Right there. Put the front one in front of the wheel. Okay, now go do the other side. Beautiful. Get the back one and then get the front one. That's the way. See, the floor tips this way a little bit. It actually will roll out if you
Yeah.
did that on me one time. Now, any questions?
Now you gotta
Let's get
put all
your
your...
board filled out here.